Hello, everybody. This last Sunday in August, as usual, everybody says, "Oh, the month has flown by." Yes, it has. It truly has. I just realized there was something shining on me, and it's a mirror that I keep down here. And then I realized the mirror was facing up, and some hot sun comes in that window. Don't think I want to set the curtains on fire. So, hello, everybody. It's so good to see you. Happy Sunday. Let's see all who's here. Boy, do I have a lot to tell you and show you. So, Sonia, first person here. Hi, sweetheart. Then BB is here. Polly is here. Lisa. Let's see who else. Kathy Klein is here from Illinois. And Nazarin's here. Hello, Nazi. I hope you've been able to stay safe from the fires up there. I have worried because they pretty much gone across all of Canada. And let me tell you, Canada is so huge. It is, Canada, I think, is the third or fourth biggest country in the world. I don't know. It's big. Nazarin can probably clear that up for me. Teresa Jukovic is here. Debbie is here. Jody. So good to see my Jody. I'm sorry. I know she's our Jody, but I feel like she's mine too. So I was thinking about her this week because I've been following her instructions pretty good and they're working. So I'll show you that in a little. You're well good. Charlene Piper is here. Man, this is so good. It's so good to see everyone. Ah, yeah, I forgot to put up my placeholder because we usually, when I finish the show and say goodbye to y'all, I go ahead and set up the show for the next week. And I have to fill out these little slots when I set up to schedule a stream because these are live streams. And then I have to have a picture to put, to hold I call them placeholders. I don't know what they call them. But last week, I'm trying to think, I must have been in a hurry to get upstairs. I forgot to make it. I said at the time, I thought, I'll make it later. I can do this upstairs, take a picture. Well, I totally forgot. So about 10 minutes ago, I had to quickly make a placeholder. So as you can tell, the picture of the placeholder is exactly what's behind me. So you want to see my Bargellos? Two very different Bargellos. And only 5 colors are the difference in these Bargellos. So let's take a look at these. Let me loosen this. Here is my beach. I named it the Beach Bargello. Oh, thank you, Miss Debbie. And so I think I showed you, I think this was finished last week. Well, guess what I did this week? I finished the first Bargello. And this is a primary color Bargello. And I tell you what, thank you, BB. Can you see where changing the border made all the difference with that quilt? The other border looked too washed out and it made the quilt look awkward. The moment I took the leftover strips that I had cut and pieced them together in what is called a piano key border. Hi, Betty. Once I pieced them together in what's called a piano key border, it all made sense. So just remember, borders can make all the difference in a quilt. Before the primary one, hi Svetlana, dear heart, and the borders can make all the difference. Every little part, the color you choose for the inner border can make a difference. And at first, that dark inner border seemed just too jarring, but with the piano key border now, I think it all works. So both tops are done. I've already cut the binding material, and now it's a matter of getting them onto the long arm and quilting them. So, and as usual, our Mary has already done hers. So that is amazing. Look at Marcia. You're so smart, Marcia. So we love our Svetlana. And I tell you what, if you heard about the airplane crash, and I never know how to pronounce that man's name. Now, he wasn't a nice man, but he's no longer, because that's the kind of person Putin is. And we don't need him starting his march to take over the world. Because if he's allowed to take the Ukraine, who's next? Because it won't stop just there. Know that for sure. So, enough about politics. I could go on forever, but it's just too depressing, and we're here to have fun because girls just want to have fun. So, it is so good to see you. So, this week, the microwave decided it was done. And so I ate peanut butter and jelly. I was going to make a little, warm up a little Stouffer's TV dinner for lunch, and no microwave. So I had peanut butter and jelly. And you know what? Peanut butter and jelly is pretty good. Takes you back to your childhood, that's for sure. So Mark went out. I looked up online and said, what's the best rated microwave oven? And Mark went and got one as close as the one that they said, and came right home with it and put it in, and off we went. It was done. So that was nice. And, you don't like having to replace appliances. I'd rather spend the money on fabric. But luckily, microwaves are the cheapest of the appliances. You don't get much cheaper than a microwave. So we're having to learn. Our old microwave, you could push buttons 1 through 6 and it would automatically cook for a certain amount of time. The new one, you have to push 2 buttons or 3 buttons. And it's like, boy, have we gotten spoiled. Having to push 2 buttons is too much work. So we are truly spoiled now, aren't we? But, you got a Walmart one. We got it from Home Depot. So, but it's funny. We are totally spoiled. I told Mark these are first world problems, right? Svetlana, I'm sorry, I'm complaining about dumb stuff. I should realize how lucky we are. Although we've got our own worries. One of them got mug printed this week. So that we have our own problems, trust me. But this is definitely first world problems. I told Mark this morning, this new laptop is acting up because before, if I opened it, it was on for me. And now I'm having to push the button to turn it on. So he said, give me the computer. He sat there, looked it up. He said, okay, now I fixed it. Took him 30 seconds. And I was complaining because I had to push 1 button that time. So do you see these are definitely first world problems. Speaking of first world problems too, how is the exercise going? Has anybody else been joining me in exercising this week? I made my chart and I've been doing pretty good. I got a slow start, but I'm now actually up to exercising, not for a long period of time. When the sciatica starts to hurt too much, I get off. But I am exercising twice a day, and I need... Oh, Lisa! Brilliant! I am so proud of you, sweetheart. I belonged to Weight Watchers once, and it really worked well. For right now, I'm just having a little mental block with organized dieting, but I've been doing really good with eating and little things like if you feel you must have chips, put them in a bowl first so you can monitor your portions. And I've been doing that. I've been really good, but mainly just eating plenty of fruits and vegetables. And I'm very happy with my fasting. So I fast until 2 o'clock. If I eat too soon, I just don't feel good. But I'm working the plan, ladies. So I'm going to keep working and keep building it up. I want to add some dancing. I just want to put some music on and dance to it because then you kind of get all different kinds of muscles going. But I tell you, I do think even though it's only been a week, it's working. It's helping. So it doesn't mean I'm ever going to oh, good job, Kathy. Doesn't mean I'm ever going to like exercising. But if you like the way it feels and you want to stay mobile, Mark and I have plans to travel to England, to Norway, and I've got to be able to do plenty of walking to do that. So that's important. I found an old 8 tips for success. And this must have come probably from Quilter's newsletter magazine. Have any of you seen this? Oh, honey, that's wonderful. Yeah, Lisa, you look so good. I'm so glad that you take care of it before it gets to be as big a problem as I have. So good for you, hon. To keep applique stems from shifting out of position while hand stitching, pen over rather than through them. That is excellent advice. So see, you've got a nice little stem like that, and see how you pin over. Because have you ever noticed if you're trying to put a small applique on something and you pin it, it crunches. So that was a good idea. To wash small pieces of fabric without fraying the edges. Who washes small pieces of fabric? Put them in a salad spinner rather than a washing machine. Yes. And another thing, I don't have a salad spinner. Wet lettuce never bothered me. But anyway, what I do is you can get a little lingerie bag with a nice fine mesh, but I don't put them in a washing machine unless I have to. But put them in a mesh bag and do it by hand in your sink. That would help. So, okay. Then oh, yeah. Do you know, I hear you, Polly, about the arthritis. This summer seems to have been a terrible summer for arthritis. Go figure that. I'm so sorry, though. That makes, it's frustrating to hurt every day. And I'm starting to find that's part of growing older. For the privilege of being here. Oh, no. Torn meniscus. What have you been doing, young lady? A shot in your knee. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Ooh. Hello, Kelly Cruz's Crafts and Quilts from British Columbia, east of Vancouver. Nazi, there's another Canadian is here. Oh, that I will check. Thank you, Debbie, for telling me that. She said on YouTube is a great walking video with music. That's a great one. Thank you. I will look that up. To match ends perfectly, lay 2 binding strips right sides up and overlap the ends by 2 inches. Cut through both layers at a 45-degree angle. Place strips right sides together and stitch a 1/4-inch seam. Uh-huh. Oh, I see. Do you see right there? They laid them with the right sides facing up. and probably overlapped them and then cut the 45-degree angle. And that way, then when you go to sew them together, you've got the perfect angle and they should match better. I like it. Good job. To make a sewing machine needle easier to thread, shine a beam of light behind the needle's eye. I have heard that one, and I bet you that does work. So if you want to keep a little flashlight by your sewing machine, then you would just shine the light back there. Maybe the light says, come here, little thread. Because it's getting harder and harder to thread that needle. I'll never forget when I worked at the museum making costumes, and some of the ladies would say, I can't see to thread this needle. And me with my 2015 vision was all, full of herself, and thought, what must it be like not to be able to see? Yeah, I got mine. It comes back to get you, be careful of those cocky thoughts, because you're going to pay one day. Your time's coming. So to make it easier, another one. To make a long row of even blanket stitches, machine baste a visible line 1/4 inch from the edge of the fabric and use this basting line as a guide for stitch length. Well, that's pretty good. This week, I've been a busy girl, and I cleaned this drawer out, which I'll show you in a few minutes. But I found something even better than machine basting. Now, this is getting harder and harder to find because less people are hand quilting. But this is called tiger tape. Do you see that? And what tiger tape? It's 1/4 inch wide this way. So it would work if you put it right along the edge of your fabric, it would be 1/4 inch away. But this also has even markings. So you can, let me make sure, I want to hold it, let it focus. And it has even markings. Whoops, I'm not keeping it still enough. Has even markings. This roll will last you a long time. But some of you, I've shown you how to do stitches by hand, to do quilting, whatever. And this tape, you just unroll it, lay it along your fabric. You can use it numerous times until it loses its stickiness. But I think tiger tape would be an even better one. And because it has all those little markings, it gives you exact measurements. But can I add one thing? Who says blanket stitches have to be even? You can tell. I just want to get it done, Anyway, but don't listen to me. I know that you want your quilts to be perfect. So to make it easier to remove papers from foundation piece projects, run the handle end of a pair of scissors along each stitching line to weaken the paper. And here is that. And I'm doing paper piecing right now. And so, yeah, that would work. But it's also one of the reasons I tell you, when you do paper piecing, shorten your stitch length to like 1.8. That in itself makes the paper easier to peel off. And remember how I also say fold on all the lines of the paper piecing pattern? By pre-folding, not only does it help you see where to place your fabric, but then when it's time to peel it off, makes it so much easier. I'm working on a paper piece project that I'm already going to show you. I'll give you a couple more hints in a few minutes. So I was cleaning out. I'm actually cleaning the studio. Yay! And I found this and I thought, before I throw it away, because I'm trying to throw away anything I don't need, I thought I'll read it to the ladies and tell. This is from American Patchwork and Quilting, which no longer is in business. I missed that. That was one of my favorites. So, okay, American Patchwork. I loved that. I don't think it's around anymore. Anyway, let's see. To To more easily make triangle squares from marked squares, press the sewn triangles open before cutting them apart. This method stabilizes the biased edges and prevents stretching. So what they're saying is you're making your half square triangle, press it open before you cut them apart. Now, I never thought about that, but that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Normally, I cut mine apart first and then iron them, and you'll notice they'll kind of stretch funny, and then you're trying to kind of press the iron down on it to make it, stay straight. So think about this, because this is good. This is really good. Oh, ouch. And so you've got your half square triangle. You've got, you have a line diagonally down the middle, and you sew on either side. Press it open before you cut them apart. So you've got two together. That's a great idea. I'm wondering, I think I might cut this out, that clue out, because I will forget it. Cut that one out and put it up on my cabinet until I have it really put in my memory. To machine now, number 8, the last one. To machine applique circular or oval pieces, first make marks that imitate the hours of a clock face on each applique shape. Pivot the fabric at each hour mark when you stitch. Wow. These people really, really like to do good work. Here is an oval. You'll see the marks on the side. So, that's pretty interesting. To machine applique. Okay. Well, I don't know if that would really help that much, because most of the time now, don't we use like freezer paper and then you fold them under? But that would work. So I'm going to cut out number 7, because that's a really good one. I'm going to cut out number 7, and I'm going to put it up on my cabinet. And, sometimes, oh, thank you, Miss Jody. Sometimes it's really, sometimes you're so cute. Michelle the Quilter is here. Yay. Oh, I love it. Sometimes it's really good to find these little secret gems when you're cleaning stuff out, and then to go back over them again. Because when you first read them, you think, oh, of course that makes sense. But then you tend to forget. I'm going to show you this drawer that I cleaned out. And I had 50 or so or 75 fabrics laying on my counter that I had not put back after pulling them for projects. But remember the other week, I couldn't even open the drawer? But that's pretty great, isn't it? Isn't that nice? And it really helps. It helps to find what I've got. I was like, oh, I forgot about that. So and I didn't know I had so many glue sticks with the glue pen. So I'm really tickled. So anyway, I just thought I would show you, because I have been telling you that I've been having a hard time facing having to clean this room. But when it gets to the point that you can't be creative, time to clean the room. All right, so now I'm going to show you the stained glass. And the reason I'm so tickled with it is I have followed Miss Jody's advice. If I listen long enough, the things that Miss Jody tells me will actually sink in. So I was going to tell you too, this is 8 ounces of tacky glue. I've got it in my cart at Amazon for like $2.40 or less a bottle. So I'm going to get more. This bead case has been fun to do this This bead case has been so much fun to keep my fabrics in. 4 colorways. I have blue and teal. I have purple and red and green and orange and rust. So I don't know why, but I thought, what can I didn't. One thing I'm trying not to do is trying not to walk around with huge, heavy bags full of my little mini bolts of fabric, because that just is overwhelming. And then I end up with this huge stack of fabric. And I knew I wanted to do that on the couch beside Mark while we're watching TV in the evening. I figured that would work, and it has worked beautifully. And I can take all of these apart, and I have them beside me, and I can easily then look for the colors. All right. Now, Miss Jody has given me so many hints, and I forget exactly which ones of hers. Let's just put it this way. Any hints that I give you that are good, then Jody taught me those. So I made freezer sheets of the pattern. This pattern is free on our site. Just jot me a little, let me see if I can type this. Jot me an email, OurTimeToQuilt at twc.com. If you just send me a little email and tell me what pattern you want, all the patterns I make for the show are free for y'all, because I just want you to play and have fun. So, to any of those of you who already belong to our free groups IO, it's on the site. It also send me an email if you would like. Go have lunch, honey. Kelly, it was great to see you. Come back anytime, hon. That's wonderful. And if you want to join our free groups IO, just send me an email for that too. So have a good lunch. Okay. So here is what's left of one of the second, there's page 3. I've done 1 and 3. I still have to do 2 and 4. Okay. And you can see how I've done most of this page. And I had made another copy of this just on regular paper, and I numbered the page before I started, because I realized, now Miss Jody talked about maybe you could take the pattern and do a basting stitch over, put this on the fabric, pin it to the fabric, do a basting stitch over it onto the background, and that way you could see it. I numbered them and took chalk and outlined where all the shapes go, and I'll show you what I've done so far. I'm loving this. I'm having so much fun. It makes me wish that I had more projects like this just waiting to go. My daughter loves doing paint by numbers. Some of the new kits are so great. Well, this is what does it for me, and I love it. So pretty, and then page 2, and then page 4. So it's going to be just about this size. And it is stained glass. Thank you, Polly. It's stained glass because I spaced the pieces out so the black background shows through. So I'm going to show you real quickly, how do I make this happen? So let me get my camera pointed down. And the tacky glue is what I use to put the piece on. And the reason that is because I guess I left my other glue upstairs. Because I didn't want to use fusible this time, because unfortunately I hate doing the sewing through the fusible. Even using non-stick needles, it gets gummed up. The thread breaks so much. So I said, let me try it this way, because I don't necessarily I do what works for me rather than what the standard practice is. All right. So now let me look at this. So the next piece I'm going to put in here, let me do a medium violet. So let me get my camera pointed down and I'll show you just what this entails. It's really pretty easy. So I cut the freezer paper and I have to decide. Sometimes if the line is too long, I leave a little bit of too wide, too thick of a black line. I will leave a little bit of black on there. Then when it's the normal width, I cut right along that edge of the black line. And let me cut this black off over here. All right. So now I've got the piece. And this says medium violet. Let me find a medium violet. Let me get my iron heated back up too, because I'm going to need that iron. All right. Whoops. Okay. Let me. Now, the reason I wrote down violet versus purple, I consider this purple. But violet, I consider this a violet. To me, a violet is a little more towards lavender. It's a little bit more towards pink rather than a true purple. So here are my two possible choices. Now, what I'm going to do is go back and look and see what I already just used, because this piece is going to be under here. And I like to have different, I've already used this one right here. So I'm going to put that one back, and I'm going to use part of this ombre, okay? So I think my iron should be preheated. And since I'm just going to, there's the piece. Okay, I'm going to use this area right here. To you, it might look blue, but it is violet. Whoops, let me iron it up on the ironing board because the iron cord won't stretch that far. I told Mark, for Christmas this year, I want a cordless iron. So he said, oh, you do? Yeah, you got to tell Santa. So I'm going to turn the iron back off because I don't think I need it anymore today. All right, so here we go. And then I take one of my pairs of snips. Now, I don't like to waste fabric, so I like to come in here pretty close. And I'm going to cut not quite a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. I kind of go angled at the corners so there's not too much excess. But I try towards 1/8 of an inch. And I like to cut this out first, and then I can refine it. Let me put that back where it belongs. I love ombres. And you noticed I ironed this down to the front of the fabric because I forgot to reverse this. When I get near a narrow end, pointed end like that, I really trim this closer because otherwise then you have excess fabric to try to fold in there. All right. So now I've trimmed this. If I had too many curved edges, let me trim this. This is a little too wide. On a curved side, I'll come in and just do a couple of these little cuts to relieve that stress, to make it a little easier to tuck under. I'm going to come in closer to this point so it's not so much, I don't want so much excess fabrics because they're hard. What do you do with them? So this is what I have found that works for me. Now I use a glue stick and I come in here and put some glue on the fabric. I'm rubbing kind of hard because this glue stick is partially dried out. But even though I'm folding it away from the paper, it still works to kind of show you where the edge is. And so and if you're too far away from the edge, if you can see the white paper, then just push it back a little. Okay, now let me come in here, put glue stick all the way down, and this just holds it until I can iron it. And I like to iron the shape nice and flat. So see, with this curve and having those nicely cut pieces, isn't that neat? It really can work right sharply. And see, when you go to fold this back, if you see the white paper, then fold it a little less steep. All right. Now, this is one of the points that I try to be careful of. Let me go ahead and put the glue on this rest of this. All right. And this end, I just fold on top like that. Okay. And then just fold this. Now, let me go press that real quick just to make sure that I've got that shape down pat. Still just enough heat left in the iron. So now you can see that I did a pretty good job. Okay. Let me cover my glue stick. Now I'm going to need my tacky glue. And so I come here and I peel off. First, I look, okay, I don't need this piece anymore. I've already cut that piece out. So I come in here and I look, where is piece 42? It's right there. So I look here, I know where to put it. I peel the freezer paper off. Then I take my tacky glue and I just, do little dots. And this, since it's a new bottle, it's really coming out. So I'm going to take and kind of spread it and wipe the excess off. Don't worry if you get it on the fabric, just rub it off. Okay, then I'm going to come up here and put this into position. And I want to make sure that I keep a pretty, let me get, I need a paper towel to wipe my fingers off on. Okay, and then wipe any glue off, but just know that where some of the glue went, it's going to have new pieces cut over it. So there, that's in place. Now I've got one more. In fact, let me move it over just a touch. And this glue dries so much faster that sometimes you may have to put a little more glue there. But just make sure that looks good. Now upstairs, what I have is one of the little clover irons that has the little tiny head on it. And it's really good to use while I'm sitting in the chair. So then what I would do is come in and touch the iron on it to set that in place. So that's how I do this. That's how I've done all of these pieces. Then when I'm all done with this, I will take and press it all good again. Let me bring you back up. I will press this again, making sure it's nice and flat. So see, here's the new piece we put on. And so I will press it all again. Then I will put it on the, no, I can't do the long arm. I'll have to do this on a domestic, because then I'm going to take and do the monopoly, the clear invisible thread, and I'm going to zigzag all the pieces down. And then I think what I'm going to do, so far as how do you quilt it, I think I will do kind of a stitch in the ditch with black thread in between the pieces. I don't know. I've never done this before. If you have any suggestions, please send them my way. All right, so that's the stained glass, and I've almost got half of it done, but it's so much fun at night. I'm thinking, ooh, maybe I can make some more patterns and just kind of, it's going to be a long winter, but it's something so easy to do in the evening. All right, I've shown both of the Bargello tops. That piano key border really saved that quilt. I've told you about how I'm doing on my exercise, and y'all tell me how you're doing on yours, and I'm so proud of you. The next thing is Triptych process, because, I did mostly finish my Earth, Wind, and Fire, but then I started liking it and didn't want to cut it up anymore. So what do? I decided to go a whole different direction. We're going to do this, and this we will cut into 3 panels. A triptych just means a 3-piece work of art. So, and I'll probably do a bigger center section with smaller edges. We could maybe do them unusual shapes. We'll decide when we get to that point. But we're going to make one big one first. Now, I found this inspiration. I couldn't find who in any way created it to ask for permission. I will tell you, though, that I'm definitely changing it. I'm going to put the sun way over here. I'm going to put a moon up here. And then you see this jaggy line I've drawn on it? That's going to be purple mountains. So we have 4 colors here that we're working on. Let me show you. So remember, first, I went to my EQ8. I drew up a pattern. I don't know exactly what that person used, but this is what I wanted to use. I wanted to have a scrappy kind. Mary's here. I wanted to. Pat is here too. Oh, that's great. You're sewing away. Aw. Oh, hi, sweetheart. It is so good to see you. So this is the pattern. It's already on our site as listed as the new triptych. And triptych is spelled like this. Okay. So what I did is I made the patterns and then fit 6 to a page. I've used one of these, and they're kind of, I made one 3-inch block, and then I made the new ones I printed, and they're smaller than 3 inches, but I like that better because I can make more and the piece won't grow so big. So what I did is I took up some newsprint that I have had for 18 years. And I've always wanted to use it for a foundation pattern paper piece type of thing, because newsprint is inexpensive. It tears more easily, which means you have to be a little careful with it. But it's almost a see-through too. Well, I'm not. If I had a flashlight here, you would see. But it's just a little lighter weight, easier to tear. And that's good when you have arthritis in your hands. But I managed to get 6 on here. And I printed out like 22 pages. So 22 times 6. Plenty of blocks. So there is that. And because if you look closely at the inspiration, I have a feeling that her blocks were a little more random, and that's fine. I'm trying to learn in my old age not to make things so complicated. I'm trying. But anyway, to use that, one of the colorways is going to be blue. So here is one of those blocks. Here's blue. One of the colorways for the mountain is going to be purple. One of the colorways is going to be red. Then you remember the orange from last week? There it is. And yellow. So there's 5 colorways. This is a great scrap buster. Just great. So now let me show you I'm going to set these up along the edge. And one thing I said, as I was trying to put away the 75 mini bolts of fabric, I thought, what is an easier way? Because I first started taking possibilities, all these bolts that I was trying to get put away, I started to put in a bag thinking I'll use them for Triptych. Well, then the bag filled up and I thought, well, that's awful. And I said, I can't be carrying that heavy thing around, and it's going to make it really hard to use the fabric. So I thought about how I have done with that project. Now, that project, okay, here we go. So I thought, why don't I look through my scraps and pull those, and then if I have to take them off of one of my little mini bolts, then just take a piece, not the whole mini bolt. And that way I can always come back and get more. Now this looks messy, but trust me, it's not. Here is the stash of blues that I chose, a lot from the scrap basket. This came from the Bargello quilt. So did this. So a lot of these are recent scraps. So that's blue. I'm going to put them directly into the bag. So I'm ready to take them up as soon as the show's over. Let me get the papers down in the bag too. All right. So now here is my purple pile. Right here. There's my purple pile. Lots of nice random shades. So I've got that. Then here is my yellow pile. And you want it to make this pop, you want as many different kinds of yellow. That has some green in it, but in the right place. These are going to be wonderful. Oh, okay, honey. Take good care. We hope to see you back. Thanks, hon. Now, this is my orange pile. And to make it pop, it's got some rust. You want as many different, even this, some people will say, well, that's just brown, but it's got an orange look to it. And to make this quilt sparkle, I want to cover a wide range. Then here is my red pile and all the different variants that I could find for the red pile, even a little bit of pink, okay? So that is to show you how I chose my colors. Remember, this is what I took off my second set of Bargello strips so I could put more blues in. So I'm going to use these too. And it's a great way to use scraps. And from that, here is red, my orange, my yellow, my blue, and my purple. The only main colorway is I'm not going to have any green because I've decided to do purple mountains and the rest is sky. So there are my colors and I think it's going to be really pretty. So, and I've just got to make, mostly I'm going to be making yellow and orange, then less red, then less blue, but a good amount of purple for those mountains at the bottom. And then once I have enough of those, I don't know, 200? I don't know how many it's going to take. I'm just going to work it a little at a time. To make the wonderful swirls, I'm going to have to do some, laying them out and then cutting. And so not all the blocks are going to be in their full glory. They might be trimmed down to make the beautiful shape. So I will work all that. I'll probably piece it. This is what I do. I jump in and then teach myself how to swim. So I'm not fully sure exactly how to work it, but I have a feeling I'm going to put all of the blocks together, join them into the piece, and then come and cut. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'll be thinking about it and I'll let you know. And Mark said, for you, that's part of the fun, isn't it? It's like, yeah, I like trying to figure out how do I make that happen? So I'll probably lay them out and then, I don't know, maybe I'll make a big pattern. That's probably what I'll do. I'll make a pattern and then and have it lines because I want everything to line up vertically and horizontally just to have the different swirls through it. So we'll figure it out. But can you say what type of printer you have? And you need a new one? That's the tricky thing. What kind of printers do people have? Mine happens to be a Hewlett Packard, an HP printer, but I hate the cost of inks. So what I would do is, look it up and see what are some good, reliable printers. But which printers have the best ink prices? Because buying the printer is a one-time purchase. Buying ink is every 6 months, and that will kill you. I mean, for me to get ink for a year, it's like $140. That's ridiculous. So anyway, but that's how they get you. They'll offer you a real flashy printer. And nowadays, you don't need anything flashy. And it used to be that you needed to have, what is it called? Fax capabilities. You might use that if you buy a house once, but I'm going to be on the lookout like before the Black Friday sales. I'd like to get a cheap little printer for down here and something though that's cheap on ink. Another thing, when I was cleaning, I found this little cap. And I know where it probably came off my starch thing. And I said, that is a cute little cap. I'm thinking of turning it into a little pen cushion, putting double-sided tape on it to sit on top of my sewing machine so I can keep a couple little pens right there. So I'm not going to throw that away. I'm going to turn it into a little pen cushion with double-sided tape on the bottom and stick it on my sewing machine. Because you know what? I hate looking for a pen cushion, reaching over for it. It'll be right on top of the machine. All right. So let me see. This past week, I worked on using the triple thick sealer, Deco Art triple thick. I worked on getting a coat of that on all the fronts of my journals. I also put closures. Everyone's going to come with a closure. So if you want to stack papers and ideas inside of it, that you won't lose them. So everyone has a closure on it. And I need to now take and put sealer on the back. I like putting sealer on the fabrics, especially, even the faux leather one, because I feel like it just gives it more protection. And because I don't know about y'all, but I carry journals around with me everywhere, and they tend to get a little bumped up. So I try to make it last really good. So that was fun. But I looked on the Deco Art bottle, and it didn't say anything about ventilation. But if you're going to be I was putting the sealer on 12 journals, and I should have had good ventilation because I got one powerful headache after I did that. So be careful. Even if it doesn't say on it, just open a door or window. Do what you have to do, because I don't like that headache. That was not fun. All right. Now, I talked to you about this fall, my new emphasis, especially on cleaning up the room. I found, do you remember the African Savannah strip quilt we made with the what do you call them? The silhouette of the African animals? I found that, and it's really pretty. And it made me sad that I haven't finished. I haven't sewn it down with invisible thread and quilted it. So I'm more committed than ever that starting in September, maybe the middle of September, I really want to have the focus on what project, what UFO am I working on this week? So it doesn't mean I won't add new. I will add new projects, but also every Sunday I'm going to give you a report on what am I working on, because it felt really good to go ahead and finish that first Bargello. And I think I'm going to give that to my grandson for Christmas. So he'll have a quilt from Nana. So anyway, is Cheryl here? Cheryl Hogan. Oh, good. Oh, okay, good. Yep. Okay. Thank you, Cheryl, for giving us information on a printer. Oh, okay. Instant ink. All right. So just check and see, because boy, what a mess. But I am really going to work on getting some of these UFOs. It's starting to bother me with the health problems I've had in the last few years. It gets your attention. And I realize that it's not a legacy if it's not finished, that very few people take on finishing someone else's old quilt. So my goal is to all the quilts, the UFOs I have in this room are going to be given away to people to finish if they want. If I no longer want to work on it, I'll pass it along, or I'm going to finish them. And that is very, very important. So I'm purposely trying not to see new ideas of anything. It's one thing to do an art quilt here with y'all. It's another thing to start a brand new project. So there have been a couple block of the months lately. I'm not doing them unless something is really amazing. Like the Alex Anderson Neutral was such a great project and I've got it upstairs and I still work on it at least once a week. But otherwise, I'm not going to start any sizable projects until I get my UFOs down to a manageable number. A UFO exchange. Now that's a great idea. If you're not sure what that is, it's where we each take anybody that wants to participate. You take one of your UFOs and you send it to a buddy who then will finish it and you will finish theirs. So sometimes that really helps, because to them, it's going to be something new and exciting. To you, you had gotten tired of it. So consider that. That would be something fun. A studio garage sale. Yes. And you know what? I should be the one to do it, because I know what Mark's going to do. When he was married before, like I was, and when he got ready to move, a lot of the china and crystal went into the dumpster. So I know what he's going to do with it. If I leave first, he's going to, how can I just get rid of this? But yeah, think about inviting a local guild over and you can have a yard sale. So that's a great idea. That's a super idea. Because, honestly, some of the things that I thought I wanted to do, I no longer am interested in, and they take up valuable space. They take up emotional memory, all of this. I just, sometimes it's better to get rid of it. So I don't think I've ever regretted giving anything away that I've given away. I used to do trunk shows for other quilt guilds, and I would take one of my least favorite UFOs and I'd pass it along. And it was always appreciated. All right. So now what we're going to get, the project for today is how to print and paint on fabric using waxed paper. Because I was looking at a project that they made a jelly. You can take like 4 packages of Knox gelatin and make it very concentrated and put it in a mixing bowl, and then you dump it out, or you can put it in a pie pan, and you can take and put different fabric paints or dyes on that and try to do little swirls or things, and then lay the fabric on it and print it. And then once the fabric dries, you iron it to be color fast. Well, they had a little comment in it that said, if you don't want to make a jelly, try a sheet of wax paper. I said, now there, you're talking my language. So we're going to look at our show and tell first. And then we're going to come right back and we're going to work on different ways that it with small pieces of fabric and inside, not out in the heat and humidity, that we can turn around and dye fabric. So let's give that a shot. But let's now go and look at your show and tell. All righty. And you know what? I did a quick glance around the site. I didn't really see new pictures. So let's hope. Let me close this curtain over here. Oh. Okay. Turn off this light. I want to make sure you can see. All right. Let's check out your show and tell. And if you sent something in the last hour and a half, I probably didn't get it. I'm sorry. I was running around today and feeling like a chicken with her head cut off. All right. Now, come on. Oh, I know why the mouse is. I have a mouse here that doesn't like smooth surfaces. And I was trying to make it work on freezer paper. Well, guess what? Let me find something else to run it on. Okay, here we go. Yay. Believe it or not, I had to get a hand towel to make it work. Okay, new folder. Oh, and just for some of you, here was the inspiration for the stained glass. And my drawing I did on 4 pieces of copy paper. So, and I did it by hand. So I used the inspiration, but I made my own drawing. And anyway, that's what I got my inspiration from. All right. And I have the pieces of pattern anytime you're ready. Okay. Oh, then let me go back and check one more thing. The Triptych. I had all kinds of ideas that I looked at. And when I saw things like this out there and thought, oh, that's cool. That just really drew my attention. And then I saw something like this and I thought, oh, wow, that's really awesome. I want to do more of these nice little, fine little strips. I think that's awesome. Okay. And then the one that really did it for me was this one. I said, that is awesome. And it sparkles. And how can I make it mine and design it myself and make it mine? But here now the bottom is going to be taken up with purple mountains. The red you can see, but see how there's a lot of orange and yellow and a lesser amount of red. Then here is the blue here, and the purple's going to be down here. And then I'll have to I want to do a moon. I want to move this sun over here, and I want to put a moon up here in the blue area, and I think that'll be cool. So that's what we're working on for the Triptych, and then we'll just figure out how to divide it into 3. Okay, so now, and I messaged Anne. She had her eye operated on Wednesday. They did the cataract, no problem, but for the other one, to help reduce the pressure from glaucoma, because drops don't work for her, they had to sedate her fully. But she sounded great. So I think she's doing a very good job. Here is a wonderful cloudy sky she sent us. Evidently, they went out for a ride. I love that. She said the clouds were so low. They are beautiful. Here's her donkey. Let's see. Oh, I love all of her little farm animals. And let me bring this up bigger. Okay, there's her wonderful farm animals. Then her wonderful writings that she's illustrated. Very talented lady. Very talented. And her Santa, whoops, don't want to miss her sugar skull. That was so cute. Look at that. Isn't that great? And I did talk to her. She's doing a landscape. And I did talk to her. Look at those amazing clouds in that sky. And look how blue that sky is. That's just beautiful. So thank you, Miss Ann, and keep healing well, hon. But I did give her some hints on doing landscapes. All righty. And then next would be Betty. And this will probably be the last time we see this, but wouldn't it be great to have a little tutorial on how do you make a poinsettia like that? And oh, I love the jewelry findings that look like the seed pods in the center. That is gorgeous. And now, oops. Oh, let me see. Oh, I hate when I do that. Sometimes I forget on how can I go back out. Now, here is Debbie's. I think that for sure I figured out last week. This is Debbie's beach quilt, but we've got one that's even further along. I'll get ready and show you. And then our last peek at a wonderful Bargello jacket. So this fabric was just cut from a strip, but the Bargello are the red strips in the middle. And that is beautiful. Love that. Okay, let's see who's next. Betty Meisner's. Here is her Bargello that she worked on. Just beautiful. I love how the dotted one kind of brings all of her fabrics together. And here it is finished. What a wonderful, wonderful primary color border that just really stands up to the intensity of the center. Just beautiful. Just beautiful. Way to go, Miss Betty. I really admire that. Now let's see, Miss Phoebe. And Miss Phoebe, here is the back of her quilt. And she quilted the front and back using the same colors in her bobbin as her thread. So look at this wonderful shadow box look of her beach quilt. So now we'll move to this one. Here is a close-up of her waves and her grass, her sewing, thread painting, adding yarns and things. That is a wonderful idea, adding those yarns. And I love all the beading and the lace and her waves and the shells she has put into the quilt. I love her beach umbrellas. She was the only one that thought of putting beach umbrellas. And here is her finished quilt. It is beautiful. Just beautiful. Way to go. And I love the way she thread painted along the sunset, just giving those beautiful rolling bands of color. Wonderful. Okay. Now let me go back to that. Whoops. No, come on. All right. Yep, that was Miss Phoebe's. And then Bonnie has been working on Lily, a dragon. Whoops. I'm already done with that one. Whoops. And she is working on a dragon named Lily. And she has some other, she called them misfits, and they're so cute. So I love that she's working on this. And I guess I didn't get the picture, but I sent her, I don't know if y'all remember, about 6 months ago, I got some sampler fabric, and one of them looked like the black work she was doing at the time. I finally sent that to her, and now it is kind of a almost a tapestry type feeling fabric with um black design woven into it. And she is now taking different colors of her floss and hand embroidering within the black lines. Here is Brenda's beautiful horse quilt. I love that. Okay. And it was done like Jody's style. And I'm trying to get better. I'm not there fully yet, but let me see. I think you've seen all of these. Yes, I think you've seen all of these. I'll just show you. That's my youngest grandson. He had a birthday and he's now 3 years old. He's growing up so fast. And then I think I showed you my granddaughter, Charlie, in her first job. So proud of her. And then my son and Nikki and their two boys, Russell and Donnie. Love those babies. Okay, so now that's it for me. Let's see what each of y'all have. Debbie did send me a new thing, I think, but let's first look at her completed beach quilt. So now I'm going to enlarge this because she has added birds and shells and a sailboat. And it is gorgeous. She even added a pelican, 2 pelicans. And her seagull is just singing up a storm. But I just think that's lovely. And way to go, Miss Debbie. Way to go. I love the way she handled her grasses down there. And was it BB's that had some yarn to look like the grasses? Really nice job. And I love this puppy dog quilt. This quilt, every time I see it, I love that quilt. Love, love, love it. And then look at this wonderful beach quilt with the starfish, and it's a good like tropical paradise quilt, butterflies and palm trees, and oh, what a happy quilt. Thank you for sending those, Miss Debbie. I love it when you send me photos to OurTimeToQuilt at twc.com. Then this is Joni. She must be very busy with those grandsons. And this is her gorgeous, gorgeous Bargello quilt made with that exact pattern. And I think she as well used up her extra strips. So that's lovely. And I'll be teaching this at my local retreat. That's going to be in November. It's a retreat I started years ago, but is being wonderfully run by what I call our Raleigh women. And Nancy's doing a beautiful job with it. And I'll be teaching the Bargello class there. This is Kathy Klein's beautiful Bargello. I just love each of these. Do you notice that each has their own thumbprint, their own mark of their creator? I just love it. So, Kathy, you did a great job. So it's nice when you see that the choices you make it uniquely your own. I haven't heard from our Lori recently, but we'll show these. This is the last week of showing her wonderful work, so I'm certainly hoping that she will send us some more because she's got a really good style, like this wonderful cat. But look at the way she brought these borders, inner borders, out of the box. I love that. I think she has a lot to teach us. And so I'm hoping she'll send us some more photos. And I love that doctrine. Oh, that's so cute. This is a wonderful geometric quilt that any man would really be drawn to that. And then her Wizard of Oz quilt. So thank you, Miss Laurie. We appreciate seeing your work and send us some more. So now Miss Mary, she is something else. She is a force of nature. So she started her Bargello, and then here, and she where she got this design. I mean, this is amazing. And then she's now quilted it. Look at this. Isn't this something? And I just love that. That is so unique. It is just her thing. And then let me show you the back of it where she's quilted so you can see all the lines and the different, I mean, just really, really well thought out designs on how she wanted it. She reinforces almost like an eye in the center of each one. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now let's see. Here is a quilt that her Mark, I'm not sure if he made it or if she made it for him, but that's wonderful. I love it. And then I just thought her Rudbeckias, her land, I don't know, it makes me think of Little House on the Prairie because she lives way out off the beaten path and it's charming. Okay, so thank you, Miss Mary. Now, let's see. Melanie's vacation pictures. Love, love, love them. And she loves going to Lake Michigan for vacation. And if you're like me and you've never been to the Great Lakes, you might not realize how huge they are. You would think you're at the ocean. And this looks just wonderful. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? The Great Lakes. I can't wait to see them one day. Look at this. That is, it looks just like the ocean to me. Wow. Okay, and one sunset. So I know she had, whoops, a wonderful vacation. And a little birdie told me that she put a nursing medal on the collar of her sweet Willow for taking such good care of her when she was recuperating from her shoulder surgery. She's got a few more physical therapy sessions to go to, but then I think she'll be back to creating amazing things, and we can't wait. All right, so now we're going to look at Miss Melton. I think this was going to be her first week back from vacation. Look at that beautiful sunset. And here is one of her products that she sells at her Etsy shop. Love, love, love it. Swan quilts, I believe. Here is a wonderful Turkish pistachio dessert. Looks really good. And the lovely fountains that family members make for their lost loved ones that then they use to comfort the travelers. And I love this old house. She's like me. We go look for something really interesting. And then here is the Woman's Bazaar, and it's for women to sell items from their gardens or things they make. I love that. And then another wonderful fountain that comforts travelers, even their animals. And here is a beautiful cow being walked by its owner. One more ancient house ruin that, isn't that fascinating? Just makes you wonder, what was that used for? Did someone live there? Was it a school? Here's a video from her time at the beach. That is so sweet. Love that. Thank you, Miss Melton. All right. Now, then come back and see what else. Patricia. You know, Patricia's been busy with her new best friend here. And isn't that a wonderful machine? That's the brother still. Is it Delars? Oh boy, I can't quite read it anymore. It starts with an S and it's amazing. Oh, I love that. Way to go, Patricia. And I bet you she's finished that chicken salad block of the month quilt. So cute. I love it. So when I get some UFOs done, I'm going to look forward to finding a really nice block of the month. And here is our last vision of Miss Robin's garden. And is still in the hospital, but I just told her we're all thinking of her and keeping her close, her family close to our hearts. So just beautiful. And hopefully things will work out well, and then she'll return to the group when things are better. So we have a lot of people to think about. And here is Miss Sheila's heart-shaped Bargello. And I need to hear from Sheila again, too. And Miss Teresa Juki's, this quilt has just been so pretty. I haven't wanted to delete it, even though we've shown it so many times. I love a wacky stack, whatever name you have for it. They are just so pretty. And the way those were done with the borders around each one are just, it's just even more exciting. All right, I think that was it for today. So let me get us back ready to go. And we have some fabric painting to work on. So let's get set up. Let me come back to y'all. When I'm showing pictures, I can't see the screen. So I always hope, whoops, let me close this out. There we go. Marcia has Folgers coffee. Did I get your email, Mary? If you sent it in the last 2 hours, no, but I'm sure probably otherwise. All right, so here we go. This is going to be fun. I hope. I have not tried it before today because I usually like to just wing it with y'all so that we can learn together what works and what doesn't. I won't need the iron because the fabrics are going to have to be painted and then dried before they're ready. Let me bring this out. Let me get some things out of the way. I don't want to be messy. I've ironed the freezer paper back onto my ironing surface. I've got my white fabric scraps, but I need this to lay the printed fabrics on so I don't mess up. I don't want to mess up my ironing surface here. So let me bring this in nice and close. All right. And what I have for this is I have good old waxed paper. Whoops, sorry about that. I have good old waxed paper, which I need to get more of. I'm running low. But I've got wax paper. And I've got different things. I'm going to try a few things. So I have that brush. I have this to try to draw through the stains and the dyes and paints. I have some paint brushes here. Let me find another one. Oh, this is a nice one and it's bigger. So here I go. I have some fabric medium if we need it. And I have this just in case I need it. I'm not sure why. I'm trying to prepare for everything since I haven't done this before. I have these fabric dyes. These are the Dynaflow that I love, love, love. And so I'm going to bring some of those back. I'll put them there. Let's see, yellow. I've got green. I've got blue. I've got turquoise. I've got purple. Okay. So got these. Oh, that's where my micron. Ah, I love having all of these. Yay. Okay. Never know what you're going to find. That's how I was when I was cleaning up and looking through everything. All right. I have some stamps. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but I got them out. And just miscellaneous. These were ones I actually carved after. I bought the red rubber stamping stuff and made these and put them on and then carved them out myself. And if they look a little whitey yellow, it's because I tried using them with wax to create a resist and it didn't quite work. But all of these I carved myself. So I just brought them out just in case. Now I've got this ironed on my ironing board so that it will protect from any stain throughs. Here's my first piece of wax paper. I have a whole roll of paper towels right here because I'm kind of a messy artist. And then I have the 3D puffy paints if I want to try any. So they're back there, but I don't think I want to use those. I think I mainly want to stick to these. And let me get this out of the way. All right. And I've got a towel here if I need it. So I think I'm pretty set. So what I thought, this is going to be if I want to spread the color out or if I want to put the color on and then roll it onto the stamps. And I've got, this is a fabric. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but this is a fabric I'd previously drawn on and thought, why not use that up? So, and if I put my colors down and I might want to leave this is real hard. It might leave nice designs in it. So I'm going to try to use this as often as I can by wiping it off. But if I need to, I can always tear off another piece of wax paper. So let's see how this goes. Now I'm going to start different ways. Like, in fact, I should make sure you shake. If you have these Dynaflows, I haven't used them in a good long while. And I'm going to try, I think, just to do some dots first. And then I'll see how I want to mix them in. Do I want to swirl them? Do I want to leave it dotted? Whoops. That was a big dot. I'll put another dot here. Okay, so that's yellow. Now, I'm going to try some of this turquoise. Okay, and what the waxed paper does, the waxed paper is a cleanable surface that you can put the dye on. It won't be absorbed. If you tried just putting dye on regular paper, it would be absorbed. So it wouldn't be movable. You wouldn't be able to design with it. Okay. Now I think I'm going to get some of this magenta. Maybe I'll just do 3 colors at first. Let me get this little dry paint off the tip of that. Okay. All right. So now Let me see what happens if I do this. Oh, this is kind of cool. Okay. Now I'm going to wipe this off. Now this fabric won't have much color on it because there's not much ink down here. So let's just see. I'll put this on top of it. I want to be able to rub across it. But you know, we're always looking for a new way to design fabric. So here is the front. I kind of think I like the back better. What do you think? Hi, Dolores, hon. Uh-oh, I'm sorry, Mary. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take this and put it over here to dry. Then I'm going to just see if I can, I think once this dries on the wax paper, you can keep going. So now let's see. I'm going to try to put more ink and paint now. So let's see what we do. Oops. Okay, so I got purple. Let's do a bright yellow. So this might be fun. It's easier to do than the shaving cream technique. The paints are all ready. If you can get one of these, they're called exciter packs of these colors for about $15. Because if you were to buy the little jars, they're right expensive. So I think the exciter pack, mine have lasted a long time, and it gives me a chance to experiment without spending a lot of money or without having to make up a bunch of dye bottles. So this should be fun. Now, and I can do different ways. I can use the paintbrush to mix them. I could use, let me show you. I could use this roller to mix them. So let's see. I'm going to use a little more ink. All right. I love these Dynaflows. It's a great product. It's made by Jacquard. And I think you can get them pretty much anywhere. I know you can get it from Amazon. I know you can get it pretty much anywhere they sell arts and crafts supplies. Right? All right. So now what I want to do, oh, that's interesting. Now, you know what might be cool too is to run this across part of the fabric. Let me see. Oh, guess what? Be careful when you mix the colors. Brown is, if you mix red and green, guess what? You're going to get brown. So let me, I know what, I have a skewer here. And the next one, I'm going to try to use a paintbrush to mix them. Now, I don't like all of that brown that it made, so I'm going to come back in here with some fresh green and fresh red, because I want it to be nice and bright. I love lots of color. All right. A little more blue. And I don't want to forget, because I would like to try to do a plaid and in a minute. See how intricate can these designs get. Okay. So let me see what I can do with this. But I'm going to try using paintbrushes. I'm going to try stamping. I just want to try a little bit of everything. And just remember, the more you mix, the more likely it's going to come out brown. Okay? Let me try this. Oh, that's cool. All right, so now I want to put that over there. And then wipe this off. All right, now what I'm going to try to, I want to see if I can make a plaid. I don't know if I can do this, but okay. Now I think I need a little brighter still. I'm going to come back in with some more yellow. All right. I'm going to leave it like this. First, try to get a sharper little piece of plaid. I started to want to mix it, but then might turn to brown. Oh, this is cool. So, any ways you let any, ah, oh, that's nice. Aren't they a good company? So just a piece of wax paper and fabric. If I had had rubber gloves, it probably would have been good, but I'm used to getting messy hands. This is cool. This is cool. So now I'm going to put this over here. Okay. I'm sure y'all can probably think of what you would like to do. But that, just a silly piece of wax paper. What a neat thing. So I'm going to come in now. Let me see. I don't know exactly what design. Let me see. Let me see. Ooh, let me try some of this. All right, now. Boy, when you come in to mix, it always wants to go to brown. See, look at that. I'm really good at making brown. Now I'm going to come in here and try to put some brighter colors. Let's see what happens when I do this. Hmm. Okay. Well, why not? I think I'm gonna put a little. No, I know what. I'm gonna go with some of the turquoise. But this is like playing. This is a lot of fun. Then, one thing I could do, pick up the paper. Oh, yeah. Pick this up and let it run back and forth and side to side. Whoop. It sure wants to turn. It does want to turn to a green brown very easily. But that's okay. I'm going to keep. The only way you learn is by doing it. And this is not a test. That is interesting. It's not a test, and we'll give it a shot. All right. So now that I've gotten most of the wax paper covered with color, now what if I came in we're just going to have fun. It's free. I already have all this. All right. And then I'll come back in with some turquoise. So just be careful about the colors mixing. That is something that can be a problem. All right. I like this. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and dip my fabric and see what we've got. Mm. And I'm just pushing along to make sure there's no air bubbles that'll keep the paint from mixing. But I don't want to smudge it too much. Ooh. Okay. I'll move that there. I think I'm going to use one more new piece. And I'm going to try to keep the colors brighter, lighter and brighter on this. So let me see. new piece of wax paper, and I'm going to see if, well, let me try one of these stamps. I'm going to put some of this pink down here. I'm going to take a brush. I think I'm going to use the brush to brush across. And then, okay. All right, then let me get some other color. Put it right here. And the one problem is you have to work pretty quickly because the paint wants to come back, it wants to shrink back together. This might be interesting. Okay. Now, let me try some yellow. Now, I'm just going to, let me wipe this off a little. Now, I know what I'm going to do on this one. I'm liking, let me get it tilted down a little more. I'm going to get you right in over it. Okay. All right. Pull this light over here. Ah, that was good thinking, Miss Lisa. I like that thinking. And I'm thinking here, let me get some of these puffy paints because these I think will work better on the stamp. So I'm going to take this same stamp. I just gave it a quick little wipe up. Now I'm going to run this paint over it. And stamp it right here. Ah. Okay. Now, let me try. All right. I think I'm going to leave the paint on there and put the new on. Oh, that's cool. That is awesome. This is neat. Okay, I like the puffy paint for doing the stamping because it gives a lot more presence. You know, the thicker the paint. So this is going to work much better. Whoops. I got a little paint on my face. I felt it. Oh, cool. Okay. So this works much better than the jacquard dye. All right. So now let me see. Ooh, purple. What other? Oh, here's a real bright yellow. And this is 3D fabric paint. So it's made for fabric, but it's like a puffy paint. So it will stand up to it. Now let me get a quick wipe off of this. All right. Get my brush out. Yeah, this paint tends to stay where you put it, so I think I'm going to get a much better result. Where the dye, the jacquard dyes just blend and move around so much. So now put this right here. Okay, let me wipe this stamp off so that doesn't. It would have been good if I'd had a little bowl of water to set it in. Now I'm going to come back. Let me get more paper towels. Now, isn't that smart, Debbie? I like that. I do like that. Now I'm going to get purple stars going on here. Put one right there. Here. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to do some wiping off of this one for right now. And I think I'm going to go, whoops, back here. I'm going to try some of this color again. Right. Let me clean off my brush. Yeah, using this fabric paint, puffy paint, really is good because it keeps that, cuts down on the everything turning to brown. So there's two ways to do it, and it just depends on how you want to do it. All right, I'm going to come in, go back over that one. I'm going to come over here and do one there. Let me get a little more. All right, and then I need a little more color in the middle. All right, I think I'm going to do one bit more little color. Okay. Okay. I'm going to come up here. See how far it'll go. All right. All right. Now, let me try a little touch more purple. I have no idea how this is going to come out. Like I'm telling you, this is the first time I've done this, so let's just see what happens. Okay. All right. Put this down. Let me put my paint lids on real quick. I don't want this to dry, though. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Okay. All right. Now get my paper over here. Oh, you know what I just thought of? What if I put just a few little drops of water around? And you know what else you can do? You can get um kosher salt and drop the kosher salt onto. I'm going to do something here. I want to make sure those paints might have started drying a little bit. So I'm going to wet the back of this and see if I can bring some of that color out. I should have realized they would probably dry pretty fast. So hopefully putting the water on the back will help that color be absorbed. But this is an easy way to play with color and media and try to see how it will work, what you can do, how you can get a really interesting design. And then you just let it dry. And I would put a cotton pressing cloth over it. And I'd put a pressing cloth and then iron it on a nice cotton setting and let it really set up. Okay, now I'm going to get ready and pull this off and let's see what we've got. Huh. It didn't do as sharply, I think, because I added the water. I think I probably shouldn't have added the water. Let me get a corner of a piece of one and put it across and see that maybe adding the water is what made it soften up. It softened up too much. Well, no, that design is just not wanting to come through. So all of that stamping didn't seem to do that much. Let's see. Well, that was a lot of stamping not to get more definition than that. Actually, I like the I like the wax paper. Hi, Annie, you did get oh, Bonnie's here. Hi, sweetie. Yeah, I told him what you were doing with that fabric, Bonnie. I think that's awesome. Well, I like this one pretty good. I love this one. This looks like, you know, a painter's drop cloth. This has, well, I guess it might be good for fall. And here is the plaid one. Yeah. Well, if you have fabric like I had here that had already, this one came out the worst. And I think I made a mistake in wetting the back of the fabric. But let me, since I still have reasonably good wax paper. Yeah, it dried. Oh, wow. That's why the design still looks good, because the dye and paint dried. All right, so what I'm going to do is turn this over, because wax paper has two sides. Let me get another little piece of this fabric. And I want to put a whole bunch of dots down and see what I can get. All right. I'm going to cut this again in half. All right. I think I'm going to go back to the Dynaflows. Okay. This is going to be my last one just to see. Now, I'm going to try. I'm going to do just a little mixing like that. I don't want to do it with all the colors. I don't want it to turn to brown. Okay. I'm trying to resist the temptation to over mix. So I don't want brown. Got enough brown. Okay. Now, careful. Restraint is hard for me. Okay. Oh, and you know what? Well, I don't know if this will show up much. Okay. Just throw the whole kitchen sink at it. But that's how I get myself in trouble, isn't it? Okay. All right. I think I'm going to stop at this point and let's see what I get. Okay, paper towel. All right, let's see. Oh, this is cool. Let me get this out of the way. This is a combination of the Dynaflow with the puffy paint. I think that's my best one. Hi, SJ. Oh, thanks, hon. It is so good to see you. Yeah, don't stir. But that's kind of cool. I like that one. So I still have a little more scrap fabric. Remember, this is not good fabric. It had a permanent drawing on the other side. But this now gives me some ideas of how to take this one step further. And you know what I'm going to do? This one right here that I don't like, I'm going to let it dry and go over it with more designs, especially with the puffy paint, because that gives it a lot of umph, a lot. I didn't know what the white would do, but I like what it did. And nothing says you have to stop with one good time. Let it dry, heat set it, and go again. Or don't before you heat set it. Let it dry and do it again. So, well, I'm glad to hear the king's doing well. I wondered how he would do. So that's good. But it's so good to talk to you, SJ. Didn't know if you'd taken any vacations lately or anything like that. All right, so here, that's my favorite. And I don't know if I like that one that much. Well, let me see. I like this one. That's pretty colorful. And you know what? I just thought of this. Here's the first one I did, and it has absorbed some of the browns from one of the other ones. But what I'm thinking is using the Dynaflow and hold it up and let it splat and get that splat memorialized in fabric. So, all right. Well, it was fun. It's easy. If you have the materials already on hand, it's cheap. And let me move that out of the way. There. Okay. So, and I still had fabric over here. So I think I might stay and play once I say goodbye to y'all. And tomorrow's Monday, hammock day, my last week of vacation before we go back to our Thursdays. We'll see how we do. If I wanted to change it to Wednesday, would that? I'm not saying I'm going to. Is Wednesday or Thursday the better for our art quilt days? So let me know. And oh yeah, we do love Ann's work. We do any day. Okay. Well, gosh, and so good to see it. We got to see Svetlana. We got to see SJ. This is so nice. Oh, The King's Speech is a really good film. Be careful on the crown because the crown might make you a little mad. But it's complicated. And what we have to realize, they're a family like anyone else. We've had a few doozies over here with our political families too. So The King's Speech really touched my heart. That was so good. I think, was it Colin Firth? He was so good in that. You trained for Thursday? Okay, we'll stick with that. But it won't be this week. And I got to tell you, it's really been wonderful for me to have this time. And I've put it to good use, actually getting projects done and getting this room cleaned up. And it's really, really good. So I think I'm going to get ready and say goodbye. Y'all take such good care of yourselves. Have a good week ahead. I'm worried where to put my hand. I don't want to put this shirt into any of the paints. Hey, Grammy. Grammy's coming out to see, hey, is it dinner time? Y'all take good care. It's been a great day visiting with you. And I hope you enjoyed some of the fun. I can't do some of the outdoor things yet. It's been too hot and muggy, but I thought we could do this one inside. So take good care. Y'all are the best. Be thinking about some of our people, like Michelle Lang. I'm a little worried how she's doing. I think she's in the hard part of her therapy. So be thinking and just keep our members close to your heart. And because they all mean so much to us. Send me more pictures so I can update our folders. And I appreciate it. You've updated pics on your blog. Oh, okay. I can't wait to see. All right, everybody. Okay, Thursday. We'll leave it at Thursday then. Diane 57. Hi. So good to see you. All right, everybody. Take good care of yourself. Enjoy the last little bit of summer, because fall, I've heard on good authority, fall will be coming. So, and those of us who are going to get that tropical storm come through, batten down the hatches and find a good book or some good TV to binge on, and we'll get through it all. And our heart is with Maui. So take good care of all of yourselves. Okay. Our heart is with Svetlana. And thank you for everything. Bye-bye, guys. Y'all are the best. Bye-bye. See you next week. We love our Jody. Whoops. Can't get my mouse to work. So hold on. I can pull this up now. Have a good one.